Have you ever wondered where organs go when we die? Some are feasted by microbes. Some are placed in a solution or thrown away after an autopsy. And some will turn to ash after cremation. But what if we choose to become deceased organ donors? Well, we are only given the opportunity to save and improve more than 80 lives. That's 80 lives. We can save 8 lives with our main organs and help improve at least 75 lives through tissue, bone, and cornea donation. However, deceased organ donation remains a challenge. There is an increasing shortage of organs for transplantation, especially in countries like the Philippines, following an opt-in policy or signing up to become organ donors. In the Philippines, there is limited information on what factors are essential in improving deceased organ donation registries. Good day, everyone. I am Rachel Morales, and I will share my study on life after death, examining factors influencing willingness and commitment to sign up as an organ donor. In the course of this presentation, I will go through the introduction, theoretical and conceptual frameworks, methodology, results, discussion, and recommendations from my study. To better realize the status of deceased organ donation in the Philippines, I would like to understand the levels of awareness and willingness to become deceased organ donors. At the same time, examine factors deemed to influence one's willingness and commitment to sign up as an organ donor. To guide me in my research, I use the theory of reasoned action, often analyzing social and health-related behaviors. I added background factors such as social demographic and regulatory to explore the experiences and exposures of the individuals examined. The explanatory variables in this framework are beliefs and familial consent. Fishbane and Asgen encourage exploring other variables that may determine behavioral intention affecting behavior. And so in this study, an explanatory variable trust is added. Thus, Hypothesis 1 looks into the relationship between beliefs and willingness. Hypothesis 2 examines the relationship between familial consent and willingness. Hypothesis 3 looks into the relationship between trust and willingness. The mediating variable behavioral intention attempts to understand why individuals tend to perform or not to perform a behavior. Thus, Hypothesis 4 examines the relationship between willingness and commitment and looks at the mediating role of willingness and the explanatory variables on commitment. The research design utilized for my study is a descriptive, causal, and quantitative cross-sectional survey. The research locale considered was Bulacan in Taguig City, Philippines. I examined college students in this study. Aside from having viable organs, they are said to be more educated than earlier generations, more adept with technology, and keen on using automated devices and platforms such as the internet and social media. Additionally, these generations will be the next leaders who may strongly impact how awareness campaigns on organ donation may be presented and conducted. The actual number of respondents was 431, with a 98% response rate. Data collection was conducted through an online survey using Google Forms. I used Jamovi for my statistical analysis like descriptives, frequencies, ANOVA, t-test, linear and multiple regression, and mediation. The raw data is archived in my Google Drive and will be available to the researcher alone. The statistical results of the study are as follows based on 431 respondents. The majority were 18 to 20 years of age that made up 61.5% of the sample population. The said sample population was mainly female that contributed to 74.2%. Also, they are mostly in their second to third years in college that accounted for 59.2%. The majority of the respondents belonged to a household with a monthly income of below 40,000, which accounted for 82.8%. The sample population depicts many college students unaware of deceased organ donation policy, with a total of 80.8%. This accounted for 57.1% of I don't know and 23.7% of no. Considerably in terms of social demographics and subcategories, only gender, years in college, and monthly household income were significant with beliefs and trust. The results agrees with the studies of Dangilan et al. And Poredi et al. However, literature also depicted significance in the age, which was not valid for the study. The non-significance may be the case due to the unequal distribution of the sample and the majority are young. Among the variables, both trust and willingness have the lowest mean scores, depicting a negative perception of the participants. On the other hand, familial consent and commitment to sign up as an organ donor manifests a larger dispersion distribution, illustrating variation in the participants' responses. Looking at the components of beliefs, both altruism and perceived benefits have the high mean scores and a more clustered distribution, showing unison with the participants' viewpoints. Comparing this with perceived risk with the lowest mean, again showing negative views and the largest dispersion distribution. Thus, there is variation in responses. In summarizing the hypothesis, the independent variables, beliefs, and trust have a significant positive relationship to willingness. At the same time, familial consent has a significant negative relationship to willingness, meaning as familial consent increases, willingness decreases. The hesitation may be possible because the family does not truly understand disease organ donation. We can attribute this hesitation to common myths and misconceptions like the doctor will not save me if I am an organ donor, or we cannot take it back once we consent for organ donation. Willingness, on the other hand, has a non-significant relationship to commitment. Fishbane and Asgen maintain that behavior would most likely spring from strong intentions to perform the behavior. Otherwise, behavioral intentions do not always lead to behavior. For instance, where the behavioral intention is low, similar to the results of the study. On the other hand, the study results only operationalize the mediation relationship with beliefs, depicting a partial mediation on commitment through willingness. Given the results and finding of the study, I came up with the following recommendations. First, given the current low levels of awareness and varying viewpoints of the Filipinos to sign up as organ donors, marketing campaigns must utilize understanding through educational campaigns. The drives will emphasize the need for knowing and understanding the processes involved in an opt-in policy. Second, demographics like gender, years in college, and monthly household income indicate significance in affecting beliefs and trust among the background factors. The significance suggests adding to science and ethics courses, lectures, and discussions on disease organ donation in tertiary schools across all colleges and universities. The inclusion of courses will be part of the second year and above as they are more mature and of legal age. Third, trust among the respondents is low. This result proposes building on the knowledge of medical institutions and professionals to encourage individuals to become donors. Dibaba et al. Stated that healthcare practitioners are in the proper position and are the best source to educate and motivate patients, families, and individuals to understand and accept disease organ donation. Finally, based on the statistical analysis, marketing campaigns should focus on framing disease organ donation as an act to live life after death. However, the act of selflessly giving oneself is impossible without sharing this with one's family and loved ones and signing up to become an organ donor. Therefore, these educational campaigns need to motivate individuals to engage in family discussions for consent and strengthen the need to register to become organ donors. More so, include information and transparency on perceived risks to mitigate myths and misconceptions on disease organ donation. Thank you for your attention, and that ends my presentation.